The Belleville Area District Library Board meeting will come to order. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is nice to have now where is our secretary going? It is nice to have our entire board together, and it is time for the roll call, which will be conducted by our secretary.
Okay.
There can remember, she can remember who these people are.
Fleming,
Here.
Jeriga,
Here.
Peters,
Here.
Priest,
Here.
Stoudemire,
Here.
and Hughes Gross.
I'm here too, just in case. You wanted to
Yes,
know.
she is. She's the very first one. See, Joy can see from across town in this room and the rest of us.
Because of my new glasses.
Item 3, the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved by John Jeriga, supported by Linda Priest, that the agenda be approved. Are there any questions or any additions? I didn't get to ask you in advance about additions, but this is a basic agenda. Seeing none, we'll go for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. There are no negative votes. The agenda is approved as presented. Now we have our minutes from October 10th, which you were provided in advance. And it is appropriate if you want to take time to look at it. It's also appropriate for a motion. If you look
I
at it
make a
already.
motion to approve the minutes.
October.
October 10th.
Motion by Chehevitz and support by Jeriga that the minutes of October 10th, 2023 be approved. And the minutes are pretty full. There was something I was gonna say something about, but I don't remember. What's it? So, any questions that any of you have? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying no. Then we have no negative votes and the minutes are approved. And item 5 is public comments, and I see we do have some members of the public here. This is the time to speak to us if you have a comment for the public. Are there any of you who wish to speak?
I do, but I defer to ladies first,
Oh, I'm on the agenda.
okay,
No.
okay?
And if you'll introduce
I'll
yourself.
make it quick. My name is Don Sherman. I'm a Van Buren Township resident for the past 40 years. I've been an automotive journalist for 52 years and still active in that profession, although it's winding down a little bit given my advancing years. I have a personal library of, in round figures, 900 books on automotive, motorcycle, and motorsports titles. I brought 5 examples here for your examination. My proposal is to donate that entire library to this library in exchange for a tax credit. That might entail A, a list of all the books, B, an appraisal. I have an appraiser, a noted appraiser who could provide that part of it, so it's not any burden on you. My other request is that these books be shelved in one convenient location for access to those who are interested. We're in the heart of the auto industry, right here. We're not far. And there are a lot of kids to retirees running the full spectrum that could conceivably be interested in these books. And I don't want any visible credit by the shelving except a small plaque that says something like Juriga family and a few lines crediting Don Sherman with this donation. What is my motivation here? I mentioned the tax credit. I have 2 children. I don't want to burden them once I move on with the disposal of these books. I don't want them to become landfill. I don't want them to have to be responsible for selling, hauling, giving, whatever. 900 books, as you might imagine, is quite a few. And I've got some photos if you'd like to look at the shelves I have at home where they're housed right now. And like I say, I brought you 4 or 5 copies to examine. That's the scope of my pitch tonight.
Well, thank you, Mr. Sherman. Thank you for coming
You're welcome.
and for your pitch. And the board will take it under consideration. Are there any responses? I think it's more of a administrative thing than a board things, but I don't know if we can respond at this moment.
Yeah, I don't expect immediate response, and to make life simpler, like I said, I plan on creating a full list of 1 line per title, author, copyright date. I plan on paying a respected appraiser to provide you and me the value of this collection. I could conceivably deliver them to your door. I don't live far from here, and it would take many trips, obviously, but I'd be happy to be responsible for that.
How long have you been writing about cars and reporting on cars?
I began work in July 1972. No, I'm sorry, 71 at Car and Driver magazine upon graduating from University of Michigan. And I haven't stopped doing that over the years. Right now, I'm what many people call freelance. I don't really admire that term, but I write for a publication produced by Haggerty, which sells collector car insurance. I write for Corvette magazines. I'm the editor of a Detroit area Cadillac LaSalle club publication. So that's kind of the scope of my activity.
And you're still writing?
I'm still writing.
How many cool cars have you had the chance to drive?
More than I can remember or imagine, and I don't have a figure. I'll give you a feel. I own 6 for my wife and I, 3 of which are so-called collector cars, one of which is a 2020 Corvette. I have a Mustang Mach-E electric, and I have a 2018 Cadillac ATS. I consider myself a Corvette expert and have earned a lot of money prognosticating, predicting what the future Corvettes will be. Of course, I made enough money doing that to almost pay for the C8 2020 I bought. And I'm the one who's suggesting that the next generation, which will be known as C9, will be full electric. Consistent with GM's announced plans for their entire product line. They didn't say that.
I know.
I've said it
Right.
for a long time, and nobody has challenged it.
No, it's
So I believe it.
It's coming, for sure. So how much room would, how many books do you have? 500, 900?
About 900.
How much room would that take up?
Can't give you an exact number in terms of shelf lineage, but my hope is you've got some unused area in the library where new shelving or my shelving could be placed for these books all in one spot. as you know, kids are like me, they love cars. They love Ferraris, they like to look at pictures, they like to fantasize and read. Here's the biggest volume. My collection is limited. Edition of 2000. Basically an art gallery.
Yeah.
Ken Dallison is a famous artist. And the texts are supplied by people like Phil Hill, who's deceased, but he was America's first Formula One world champion. So you're welcome to examine these books if you'd like. And you know, that's sort of the biggest. Here's the smallest. You've probably heard of this book.
Oh, yeah.
Ralph Nader started the safety initiative in the 70s with this single volume. It's not dead accurate. I found two heinous errors in it by my estimation, but it caused enough reaction that safety standards were soon written and passed, and the world was changed by that one book.
Very interesting.
Would you ever be willing to do a program in our library?
A program.
You have a wealth of knowledge. You don't have to answer.
When you say well,
Consider.
that suggests you pay me, but I know
No.
that's not the case. Yes, I would happily
Right,
do a program on about any subject you like, such as is the only source of information today the internet? Did no, such as what's it like, how can I get into this field? How can I pursue an automotive enthusiasm? And just to give you a prediction, I studied engineering. I knew I wanted to work for a car company. I got 2 degrees in engineering, but upon achieving the second one, I went straight to car driver. In large part because I had a mentor and a friend who was also an engineer. But not everybody on these staffs have a deep tech understanding and background. You need some of them to edit, to write that piece of it. And car and driver was at the time the best there was because they had strong technical expertise. I've been for Haggerty publication, I wrote about a 19-year-old who grew up in Western Michigan and goes to Oakland University. And he and his grandfather welded together a single seater that looks sort of like an overgrown go-kart. And we have a series at Haggerty called Homegrown. And I featured him in that series. He's by far the youngest, I mean, at 19. Most of these subjects are retirees or people with way too much money and time on their hands who build something in their garage, but he's an exception to that rule and a very interesting one. But I can tell stories. I mean,
Yeah.
I need water to talk, but it's only a little bit different from writing, you know.
I bet you get a lot of people at that program, because there's a lot of guys.
Oh,
There are
yeah.
a lot of
It's the heart of the automotive.
Oh, yeah.
We're in the thick of it here.
Couple center
A
here.
lot of
And then our library, once a week during the good weather, we walk right out the front door to the local car shows and a lot of car enthusiasts come around here.
You'd be shocked how many stories I've gotten for Haggerty from that Monday night
Yeah,
Belleville car show. It's the best, it could be one of the best in the country. Yes,
it's
as
kind
far
of
as-
surprising that it happens every
Yeah.
single Monday and that it's one of the,
It's well known, it draws
yeah.
far and wide, and the cars are high quality and high volume both.
Well, we appreciate you coming. I think you've offered enough for us to think about, so to the point where I don't think we can totally answer your questions right here, right now, but we will We will take it under advisement. If there's any other questions, or Mary Jo, if you have any other comments that you want to make while we're on the subject.
I've got your info here, so.
I also offered to Mary Jo, I don't know if it's useful, but the bookshelves, I have oak, nice quality bookshelves, they don't match yours, but if that were a useful part of the contribution, I could include that. Should I take my books or leave them here for you to look after the meeting is over?
Well, we'd be happy to look at them after the meeting if you're willing to.
I'm willing,
Okay.
I'll trust you,
Okay.
all right?
Well, good, thank you. You are perfectly welcome to stay for the meeting, or if you wish to leave us at this time, that too,
I
but.
have to go home and watch Michigan State get beat in basketball. Thank you.
You don't know who our chair is.
It's been a tough.
I'm a hardcore Wolverine.
Yeah.
You're not alone, it's okay.
Yeah, we're not alone in this area. Well, thank you very much. Are there, Rosemary, do you have any public commentary today? Then we will move on to our committee reports, and I don't think it'll be too long for you to wait, for us to do them in order, Michelle. On item 6A, the building committee.
That would be able to it.
I have nothing, but Mary Jo might.
We, yeah, see, that's used to be half our meeting, and now it's no report. We got our building built. You have anything, Mary Jo, on building?
That's in your report.
Yeah, I'm sorry, in my director's report, I failed to describe it as the flagpole light. We've been dealing with this for so long that I left that part out, and you probably knew exactly what I was talking about. Dean is working with the lighting manufacturer in order to get a new light fixture to replace the old one, so. That's where we're at with that. Still having issues with our analog phone lines from AT&T. So,
You do?
Otis Elevator was out, and they said that the
Thank you.
The elevator,
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
the elevator line was partially, it was staticky, but it was working. And he really advised us not to convert it to cellular, to hang on to that analog line as long as possible. So I'm just kind of sitting on this right now, but it's just still is not resolved, so.
Did you say it's just more reliable? Is that it?
Yeah.
The analog?
Yeah.
So I think Mary Jo not only had some things on the building committee, but she also wrote them up in our director's report, so we're pretty good on that. And we did not have any building committee meetings recently. So item B is the bylaws committee. John?
No report?
No report. On finance, we actually have a little piece of finance paper. Want to do that now, Tanya? Okay.
So included in your packet is the budget versus actual report for the general fund for the first quarter of the fiscal year. So if you look halfway down the page, you'll see what the grand total is for our revenues. So our 24 budget for revenues totals about 2.6 million. Our 3-month budget is 643,000, and our actual is close to 700,000. So we are doing better than budget there. And then next you will see our expenditures, which actually continue onto a third page. And our total budget for expenditures is about 2.4 million. And this is on third. And then the 3-month budget is 614,000, and our actual is at 459. So again, we are doing much better than what we had budgeted for the year. Some of that increase is related to the utilities coming in a lot less than we had anticipated, and also our computer hardware and software expenses also came in a lot lower than we had budgeted. And that a lot of that may be timing as well.
I have a question. Why are the penal fines? Coming so high?
We receive penal fines once a year and the budget divides the
Yeah.
estimated.
And I
debt by
think every
four,
year
so.
we talk about changing that. We probably need to maybe adjust our budget.
So it's still high.
Yeah, we did receive more, but
Yeah.
more money than budgeted, so this is something where we can never really
That happened in the
so,
34th District Court.
yes.
But we
That
have lots
means
of
bad
tickets.
drivers.
A couple of years where it was less, it had gone down quite a bit, so that looks like that's come back up, so.
Well, maybe a couple of years people are staying home.
More people are driving to work now, so.
Back to work.
Driving safely to work.
I guess
They're
they're,
late.
yeah, if they were driving well, we wouldn't see them. That's kind of too bad we have to root for people getting into.
They're driving without insurance. Is what it is,
Oh,
and
that's-
without, like.
Those are the main ones. Well, but more questions, anybody? That was a good one. That's a question a librarian would ask. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's always a joy to have Tanya present the financials to us. Thank you, Tanya. The marketing committee, Alma, do you have anything you wanna
No,
chat about? We did have a good Harvest Fest, and we'll talk about that a little later too. Linda, Personnel Committee,
No, nothing at this time, but this is the time when we do our work. So that'll be coming up. And probably I'll have something for the next meeting.
for the next meeting, will we be completing,
I don't know if it'll be done, but what do you think, Mary Jo?
do we
We usually do it in December.
We usually do it in December, which would be our
So
next
it's
meeting.
Next meeting, but maybe it would be January then.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we'll schedule it.
Yeah, it might be time to schedule and disseminate the paperwork and
Yes.
for board members to get their minds thinking in terms of analyzing the
So that's for the director's evaluation.
the
Yes.
director's
Okay.
evaluation, so we're gonna be analyzing the grand marshal. So get to thinking, policy committee, Dan?
No report.
Lovely. And now we get a report from Michelle, that's good, the arts committee.
Okay, is it okay if I come over here?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, I don't come here that often.
I know. So half the time we have to give the art committee kind of second hand, and it's much
Right.
better
Well,
when you
this is-
give it.
This I wanted to share with everybody our upcoming exhibits. You know, so we all get excited about that.
Well, we're all excited about
And,
the one you snuck in just a couple of weeks ago. You got it in here right after the,
Oh, yeah.
right
Yeah.
directly after the.
And everybody was-
You get one of those?
And the art committee have not met since January because we decided just to meet as needed. And I think that we would just meet when we're
Anymore?
thinking about an artist that we're not familiar with, which is what we did in January. So, 2024, we have Gary Washington. He came in to look at our gallery space. We talked about, he was an award winner, 2022, the Baca exhibit. So we talked about, he does a lot of black and white, very, mostly architectural, but he's getting into some really interesting work. So I was suggesting that maybe he includes some work with color, just because our audience likes a little color, you know. So we talked about size and we talked about placement, things like that. So he's gonna be January through March. And then April through June is going to be the Van Buren student exhibit again. And then July to September is Steve Paulson. He does 3D and some 2D, which I think some of you should be familiar with his work. He's got a piece downstairs right now. And with Kim Ench, which she's a collage artist, fiber and caustic. she had some work displayed in the, what exhibit?
What's in caustic?
It's with wax.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. I can't tell you the whole process, but I can tell you it's with wax and pigment. It's something I want to learn myself. It's just really interesting. You know, she's been working with that for a little bit. And then of course, October through December will be the BACA award winners again. And then when our committee met in January, we had gotten a inquiry from this artist. Her name is Danielle Whitehead. And she was asking about exhibiting here. And I can pass this around if you want to look at it, but I need it back.
What size are those paintings?
I don't know if it says it in the description. I think it's 11 by 14, things like, it's not bad.
Okay,
It's not bad. And I do know that our rods can hold up to 50 pounds. Which I thought, oh, like, are we getting anything that big? But we could. Kim is thinking about a very large piece that she wants to display. So I told her that I would not put a 50-pound on one rod, I'd put 2 rods.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't take that chance.
have you ever asked Doug Peters for an amazing artist?
He does not want to display.
He's got amazing stuff.
He's
You
loaned
see-
us 2 pieces.
Huh?
They're down.
Yeah.
He's loaned us 2 pieces. It's in the quiet room. Those are his.
Yeah.
Those are his.
And those 2 that were in the periodical room, did they go back to him or?
Yes, but those weren't his. That
Oh,
was his artwork that he had gotten from a client.
I see.
Right. So I gave those back to him, and Kim Ench, actually, she's in the periodical room right now, if you want to look at those. And then the only other person, well, I don't know if the school wants to do an exhibit every year. I'm not counting on them. I'm gonna talk to them this year and see if they want to do it every year, which is fine with me, you know, but that takes up 2 slots every year for us. So that would mean new art would come in, because we do 4 exhibits a year, 3 months each. So not that I'm not opposed to it, I'm just don't want to put them in the calendar and then they go, eh. Or maybe Ryan gets a new job and the new art teacher goes, I don't want to do it, you know, so. And I'm, you know, I did invite Liz Dobbs, she's a pencil artist. She had work displayed in the BACA art show and also in the What group. She does very integral work that you think it's all pencil. She's amazing. She's really very talented. But I also might include her with another artist depending on how many pieces she has. And then October to December, I would still like to invite the award winners because it's from all over the area. It's not just,
Yeah.
you know, immediate area. So
I think that is a tradition that would be
Right, I don't-
nice if we could
I
continue.
agree. But the other reason I'm here today is that we had an unfortunate incident happen with the current exhibit, which is the BACA winners. One of the pieces that was displayed on a shelf, instead of in the display case, which was occupied at the time, it was vandalized. And someone opened the case. It's actually, I have a picture of it, so I can show you. If you weren't at the
We did the piece.
Cheryl Martin. This is the piece,
Oh, yeah.
okay?
Okay.
So it's found items and it was the award winner for upcycle.
I talked to her,
Did
a
you?
really nice story that went along with that
Right,
piece.
right.
What
So-
happened in the
Well-
vandalism?
Pardon me? I'm sorry. Oh, it looks, I got a phone call on Sunday just before the library closed. And I was told by one of the staff members that she was here, Cheryl Martin, the artist, was here, and that she was looking at her art and she noticed that something was missing. So they called me and, you know, I don't want to keep the staff here, you know, so I just said, well, why don't you suggest that, you know, she take it home with her? We'll just leave it at that, you know, and so, that's what happened. And she sent me an email, which I replied to, but then I called her. And I extended my sincere apologies, not thinking that anybody would do something like that. But
Was it the dog tags that were missing?
no, it was a silver cross. And thank goodness it wasn't the dog tag,
Because
so
they
that
were
belonged, those were her grandfather's.
Yeah.
That would have been
that would've been
even
horrible.
worse.
Irreplaceable.
Right. So, through our conversation, you know, I told her, well, first of all, let me back up, when she dropped off the artwork, she agreed to leave it on the shelf. It wasn't, because the display case was not available at the time. And, we do have all the artist signed waivers, which holds the artist responsible for their artwork. Not that this makes me feel any better, believe me. So in hindsight, I have learned a big lesson, that I will, discourage someone that has a piece similar to this or anything like this, leaving it so close, you know, to be touched. You know, what I, you know, in hindsight, I wish I just said, once the case is empty, I'll call you and you can come back in and bring your art. But I didn't, and then this happened. So, I did have a very long conversation with her on the phone and assuring her, she doesn't blame the library at all or the staff. She's just very upset that somebody did this to her. So part of what you saw on this list is at the close of our conversation, I offered her, the display case for January through March, that she could display works like this in the case, or, July to September, if it worked in her schedule. And if this didn't work out, that I would like to give her an opportunity in 2025 to display her work. And we also talked about, because, whomever did this, they rummaged through it, so I know, she was very upset.
Have you seen it? Then?
No, I have not seen it, and that was something I thought, should I press that? And I was like, I don't wanna press something like that. She was already upset. You know, it was this cross right here, that's in the corner, you know? And so somebody, I don't know.
Were there cameras or anything?
Well, that was something she assumed, and I said, no, there are no cameras in the area.
We have, my building, we don't have a locked case,
Mhm,
but we use cubes
mhm.
to put over 3D work.
Right.
I don't know, something to think about. They're not expensive, those glass cubes.
Well, that's true, but I do feel that was the reason we purchased the case, was for this, to avoid something like this from happening, you know what I
Sure.
mean? So I just feel strongly that as we move forward, which is what I wanna do, then if something comes into our exhibit similar to this, that I just, well, if the case is not available, then I'll ask them to come bring the piece back when the case is available. And then I also have arranged with, Nikki, that for like next year, because I never know what I'm gonna get, you know, I don't know what judges are gonna, you know, like or not like. That I asked Nikki that always, from October to December, I need one shelf. You have to save me a shelf. If you have a display in there, that's great, but save me a shelf. Because I don't wanna leave it empty, you know, we don't wanna leave it empty, so. And that
Is
was
it empty
something,
now?
well, what I
It
did
was.
too, this is just as me, you know, sleeping on it, you know, sleeping on it. I decided, to take the smaller pieces that were on the stacks and put them in the, case.
That's a good. Idea.
Yeah, so I decided to do that, so, yeah.
You would think it wouldn't happen, and that's a pretty, I mean, it's such a public place, it would, I guess, take a lot of gall that you would
Well, I
figure
thought
that
somebody was really
somebody-
bold to do that,
Yeah, because
yeah.
we
But you know-
mainly could see it.
I know, but
So-
remember, were you any of you at the reception at the BYC?
Oh,
Oh,
It
yeah.
was packed, wasn't it?
right,
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think something could have happened? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
It would have easier.
easy.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody could have blocked it. I mean, it could have happened anywhere, to
Mhm.
be honest with you. It's just unfortunate that it happened here, so.
So I have great sympathy for her, and, you know, to put
Oh.
that
Mhm.
amount of effort into a piece of art, you know,
Right.
so I.
Well,
I
Mary
feel
Jo
bad,
also
yeah.
extended an email to her.
Did you? I was gonna say, I wonder if we shouldn't put something in writing just to express our sympathy and our.
She was
Our
very
concern.
emotional when she was talking about it with me at that reception,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Mhm.
so you could tell it really meant a lot.
Oh, it did.
Oh, she was emotional about the piece.
About the piece, this is before anything happened.
Right,
I mean,
right,
the
right.
Actual piece.
Right. I think she just started doing this type of work. So it's, you know, it's like very fresh for her, so. And it's not, and she told me that she's an award-winning photographer also, and she's very accustomed to signing waivers. So it's not unusual, and I don't mean to like, because I do feel really badly about this, but we purposely had Doug review the artist agreement to make sure that the library was covered, you know,
And
so.
that's really common for libraries to have that kind of. Because.
Rosemary,
It's out
did
there.
you have
Rosemary.
questions? Rosemary?
I want to tell you that she wrote a letter to the paper that's in this coming week's
Okay.
edition with that same picture,
Okay,
asking for somebody to return them.
Oh, good.
okay,
Oh,
I
well,
hope.
good.
And she doesn't blame.
oh, great, oh, that's what I want to hear.
We are sorry, and you know, we've had things on that list before. I don't know, I guess it's hard to figure what somebody could mess with, but.
Well, it's just,
They haven't.
yeah, it was just really unfortunate, so.
Well, while we're still on the subject, I want to express for me, and I am a member of the art committee, that the work you have done as the chair, the organizing and the sweat and effort in terms of
Climbing up and
putting
down
up.
that ladder.
Yeah, doing displays, is so appreciated.
Oh, wow.
You're the perfect person
Oh,
for
thank
that, and the fact that you're willing and so good at it.
Oh,
It is helping, and it really, those of us who, worked on the design of the library and talked with Dan about the art displays, that was always something I was just not quite, how is that gonna work?
Mm.
If I had known Michelle will take care of it, I'd be all.
And you know, I wanted the stacks to be a little bit shorter, and then it was Joy that said, this is a library, not a gallery. And I was like, "Ooh." It's always in my head, it's always like, when I put up a show, and the exhibit, you know, I can just hear you tell me, I'm like, "Oh, I remember. Yeah.
Boy, Baca's gonna kick my butt.
No.
Well, I think it's been working out really well, and I think that it, you know, whether it's just real subliminal or whether they're really paying attention, I think having art in our library is.
Oh, I
just a
think it's
really
made a
good thing.
difference, because when it's not up,
Oh, it
and
looks
I
really
walk in,
empty, yeah.
someone always says, where's the art? Like,
Yeah.
we're taking a little break. We're just taking a little break, and then,
It is good.
Just a minute.
yeah,
It's
which is
best. It
good.
is best.
Oh,
Yeah.
and the last exhibit, art is selling, the art sells, I mean, I am thrilled.
Right.
You know, I think for the what group, I think they sold 5 or 6 pieces. And then Ed Good before that sold like 7 or 9. I mean, it's, so the exposure's good. What I would like to do, and it's not, it's not gonna happen, I don't know if it'll happen next year. I would like, Mary Joy and I have talked about this, about in the future, having small receptions. Possibly for when the exhibit opens.
Yeah, we talked about
Yes,
that.
and then also it would be great if the artists would feel comfortable explaining their work in a very short program, just something little, even if during the reception, you know, a 15-minute discussion of their work and how, you know, their process. I think that in our future, I think that would be really great.
Yeah.
And that would be quarterly, kind of when.
Right, oh yeah, we would do it at the,
When-
and it would only be if the artist is willing to do it.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's something, I think that the first one, I take that back, I think the first one might be with the schools.
Uh-huh.
Because, but then I would want to get the room reserved, because I think there would be parents and
Yeah.
grandparents, and we could have a little water, cookies or something, they could figure that out, you know.
Well, that might be something that the marketing committee that are, you know, that's kind of our function. To the degree the board has a function committee. Alma chairs it, I'm volunteering.
work well
things. I don't know if she's rolling her eyes at me or not.
No, I would work, you know how I.
Oh, I know.
I think it'd be really nice. I think
Yeah,
that's a
I-
nice
I-
idea.
if
And
we
I
could-
do think in the art committee, we did talk about
I
that.
think we did too.
Yeah,
And then, but I think it could happen with the student show next year.
that would be fun.
It could happen, but, and then. I didn't discuss that with Gary Washington, because that's January. I didn't discuss that with him. I'm excited for his show. because he was sharing some of his new ideas and it's kind of bringing in the concept of AI. So just, you know, yeah, that's good. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to share.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there
Questions?
other questions?
No. I
Oh,
wanted to recognize.
oh, that was nice right down. Jeez, so nice.
Okey dokey.
Okay, so do you mind if I leave?
No, we don't.
I'll come back.
You certainly are welcome.
Come back. I should get on the, in my calendar, I just, like every 3 months or so, just come back and.
We would, that would be
Something like
nice.
that.
That would be
So
nice.
Mary Jo's not the person giving my report.
I mean, there's art on the wall, there's somebody displaying something.
So if you haven't seen the exhibit though, you should take a little walk around because
Right.
it turned out well.
It did, all of them have. Thank you so much, Michelle.
You're welcome.
We go from the sublime to the not so sublime. Time for the approval of accounts payable.
Yay.
It's important. It is very important, very business. Very much business.
So, I motion that we approve the accounts payable report as presented.
I second.
It has been moved and supported that we approve accounts payable. Before we vote on that, are there any questions or comments or? Being none. We ready to go for the vote? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no? The ayes have it. We have no dissenting votes and we have completed with that. We've completed our official business that requires votes. Now it's a chance we can talk about stuff, which we've been doing already. And we have already talked about part of the director's report, but Mary Jo has other things to share. Mary Jo?
Let's see, what did I tell you?
Told us about the building.
Told you about the building. Yeah, Harvest Fest was, wet. Rainy days, so the crowds were a bit lighter, but everybody still had a really good time. I did get a lot of thanks from parents who really enjoyed some of the new little projects and crafts and events that we had for the kids, so they like to see it get mixed up a little bit. We had a really interesting, I was able to stay for it. Nikki Pickerel from our staff did a historical program on Victorian death rituals. And she had secured some of the a loan from the Dearborn Historical Museum and the Monroe County Museum System in order to present that program. So we had their items on display for October. So I'm grateful to those two museums for assisting us. It is Dino-vember again, so we've got a lot of activities throughout the library. If you notice when you go to return your books downstairs, you will see a giant dinosaur mouth.
When the dinosaur teeth chomping off our
Teeth,
Bet the kids love that.
chomping down on the book return slot, and the kids just love it.
Yeah.
Please, if you are free tomorrow evening, we've got an author, a photographer, Jeff Morrison. He wrote The Guardians of Michigan. It's an architectural, talks about architectural sculptures that are found on historic buildings throughout the state. He also wrote Guardians of Detroit, very similar book. So I think that's going to be a very interesting program. One of our longtime library employees, Noelle Douglas, who's been our part-time library assistant for us, started here back in the day when she was in high school selling books. She found a full-time work elsewhere, so she's going to be continuing to help us a little bit, but, you know, she'll be helping out on Saturdays and continuing to help with the, comic book club, the big kids comic book club.
As you recall, she was the artist who did the pieces for Mary Jane, when Mary Jane retired.
And for Dean,
Mhm,
For
it was very
Jane.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna stick, she's gonna
Well, she'll
just stick with us for
one
a
day a
little bit, one day a
week.
week, but yeah, so,
Yeah.
Really nice.
I wanted to.
yeah.
she
So
be
she's
doing?
working for an engineering firm.
okay.
So anyway, she's,
She said she'll be
I'm
doing
thrilled
some
for her.
graphic art.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thrilled for her, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's her, so.
I don't think she'll be a stranger around here,
Right,
though. I
right.
think we'll get to have her back sometimes, but I don't wanna see her go either.
So we have posted, one of our interns had left, moved out of the state at the end of summer. So, we actually posted to hire another, library school intern, so we are working on that. Also, since Noel dropped her hours down, we're gonna be, interviewing for another, library assistant to help replace those hours. I'm also looking, been working with staff to develop a job description for like a library monitor, almost like a monitor slash mentors, to kind of assist after school. Someone who can really kind of get to know the teams after school and get to know who they are and hopefully help with some prevention of some of
We've hired a couple and
the issues that we've encountered. So
they're even doing programs with
that's
like
great.
board games to
Okay.
get to know the kids in a different way that
Yeah.
is not punitive.
Yeah, but I really want, because we have staff who are in different times, different hours, so not everybody knows everybody all of the time. They don't always know, like the Tuesday person doesn't always know what happened on Monday. This way we have someone who can kind of have some consistency and know what's
For
been going
those
on.
hours.
Yeah, for those hours.
And it's a very uneven kind
Be able to
of
really
thing.
really focus on that, and not have to divide attention between, other, jobs, so we're working to that.
What recommendations or what qualifications do they need? Like a teaching certificate or something like that, or like a retired teacher or a?
That would certainly be desirable, something like that.
Or a younger.
So basically it has to be someone who, likes teens.
Yeah.
Somebody that the teens can relate to.
Yeah, someone who with diplomacy, someone who, yeah.
Brings out the good in.
Did you get a chance, and didn't you go to something the schools were doing?
Oh, I had an opportunity to go with us their after school program. It was very, very good. It was very interesting. So.
Was that
Yeah, so-
informative for what we're looking for here? Did that give you any?
I kind of chatted with them a little bit. I think they would be willing, like if we do have a posting, I'll give it to the school. To see if they know anybody who might be interested. It might be a great job for someone who just wants to, someone from the school system who might want to, have a little bit extra money after school.
The school closed the library, their library there. In
High school?
The high
Yeah.
school.
They don't even have a library.
Yeah.
Well, they have the library, but
They don't use.
They
it.
don't staff it,
They don't
and it's
staff it.
been a concern. We've had,
How long has that been?
I think it's, so kids can't go in there and do their homework or study in there.
it never opened. Oh, they open it like at lunch hour once a week, you can go in and get.
Wow.
Yeah,
My grandson said that and I was like, that can't be.
your grandson was right.
Yeah.
And it has had or some impact on us, because some of those kids, will come over here.
We hired the librarian who was there.
Yeah.
She's now just had a baby. Psyche. So,
Well, it's really a area to look at, and I know that school libraries have been it's been controversial around, but it's controversial here, what they've done, but I know all over the country it's been an issue, and would hate to see schools get away from offering lots.
Too bad.
I heard an administrator at the high school say that, well, why have one, we can just send them to the Belleville library.
Some ride the buses to
Say-
school and they can't. Some ride the school buses from the rural areas and they can't get this
Yeah.
side.
Yeah,
And they were doing such great things in that library. At least presentations I've seen.
uh-huh.
Good.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned about that and that this, I mean, it is relevant to our discussion here that some of our needs, because it does impact our work. But our mission and part of the excitement about building this building was being able to fulfill the need for young people. We'd like to be partners with the school and maximize on both ends what
And now it's
kids
an even
get.
greater need if they don't even have a library in it.
Yeah.
High school.
We don't have a place where the high school kids can socialize after school. They do here at the library.
Right,
The school system, like in Stockbridge, Michigan, outside of Chelsea, they bought an old store. And they have a teacher there after school where kids can go there and socialize. Neat concept for a.
it is
small
good,
community like
idea.
that,
Yeah.
and they're using our library for that.
Right, our library turns into that, which is okay, except for adolescent socializing can get to be pretty exuberant.
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed.
No,
I'm so glad I really insisted on a door.
Well, it can become other things too, in addition to exuberant.
So anyway, that's something we're working through. And then lastly, Winterfest, and you guys already let the cat out of the bag. I was gonna keep it a secret until the
She
parade.
was trying to be very coy with me.
But what are you gonna wear? I don't know. That's the important thing. So,
She's gonna have a say.
But yes, I have indeed been invited to be like Grand Marshal of the parade, so I have been practicing my wave. So what do
Someone
what do
you
write?
know has been asked to be the grand marshal. That's how she coyly addressed it.
What did you ride in last year, John? A truck?
Truck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they provided or? you got?
Yeah.
They did?
that's just important.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
It's just not a quick.
No, she's gonna be, she's.
Yeah, that's a Mustang.
Mustang's gonna be the
Bill some
one-
left.
Mustang. Be nice.
Wow.
Yes, there is honey left. $10 a jar, limit 3 per person, so we do still have money and honey.
Very spring tasting.
It's really good.
I'll get one.
So,
Yeah, we
That's
can't,
available.
we can't sit here too long. We have to
Proceeds
be able to
benefit the
get
friends.
downstairs and get our honey.
Yeah.
I see in the Sumter branch, we paid for the water used. I can understand that. Did I read somewhere else where we're paying Sumter for something else? In the budget?
Well, we're not, I mean. They're in charge of like major maintenance, but we're in charge of cleaning and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, I can't think of
That's
anything.
part of our
Yeah,
agreement.
How are our numbers?
we're heating and cooling, all of that. Our numbers have been slowly and steadily improving. And I try to, and I forgot to put that together for this time. I'll try to get something for next time. I try to, put something on the rough,
Yeah.
approximately quarterly. So, we've also been encouraging people to, we do the tech tutoring here at the library, and that's usually booked out like about a month. Where people can come get individual, tech tutoring assistance here. They have to make an appointment. But we've been encouraging people to go to the branch, frequently, the library assistant or the librarian who's down there can assist with that more easily. And walk-ins are welcome for that, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Mary Jo? Always our big good report. There was one thing I wanted to say that you passed out, about the saving money at the library. Different
Oh,
ways
that is
to
all,
help
yeah.
save money by using your library. There's a couple of things.
Yeah, we don't do all of the things, should we do, we do many of them?
I don't know. Yeah, there was a couple I saw in there that I don't think applied to us, but it's a good way to talk about. We don't have local museum and attractions, we don't
Well,
reserve free tickets.
Actually, we do. We have the Museum Adventure Pass through our library network. We also have, if you look on our website, we do also through the library network have some savings on some of the different Detroit Zoo, the shows at the Fox, things like that. Like you can use your library card to get a discount. So that those are actually available.
So you're saving money.
Yeah, Michigan Adventure Pass, there's things all over the state.
So it's a good program.
Good. Well, thank you very much. And now we look like we'll have time to go buy honey, unless one of us wants to talk for a half an hour. We will start this time with Tanya. We haven't had a chance to hear from her for a minute.
So I just wanna congratulate Mary Jo on being the Grand Marshal, Fire Marshal.
That,
You don't want that job.
she does put out a lot of fires.
She'd be real good.
That should be fun. So, hoping I can make it this year. But now I'm gonna be motivated to be there, so.
Good. Thank you, Alma.
Just congratulations to Mary Jo. And also I went to the State of the Township meeting, and that was outstanding. Learned a lot and met a lot of people, from the community, so it was very good.
Joy.
I went to the Friends book sale and they were hopping. That was on Sunday, so before it was closing. And it was like, that was their second day, I think, of the sale. And it was people in there as soon as the library opened. Oh, getting stuff. And I got some stuff with my grants.
Did they make some decent money?
They did, they were happy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean, they were like, well, Elaine is selling, she's like, it's $4 for a grocery bag of books. She's like, but would you like to give an extra donation? She's like, we're making more money that way than we are from the books themselves.
I've helped with the book sale the last few times I was out of town this past weekend, but we did start doing that just, routinely, just as we're collecting. And most people, often they'll just round up, whatever, they'll just keep the change, or sometimes we've had a couple of people give just really sizable donations, so it really has been a good approach. Because a lot of people, when they come, they're shocked that they're getting so much for so cheap. So they're more than happy to give a little extra. That's good. I'm glad you brought that up because I had to miss it this year.
When is the
Linda?
next
May. Just a thought, the last time I did work the last one, and I couldn't believe how many romance novels people buy at one time. It's like,
They whip through them.
yeah, 25 or 30 bucks at one time. And my other thing I want to say is, I'm really glad you're doing the cookies and hot chocolate for the Winterfest again, because I was walking around last year and how many people just listening commented on how much they liked that. So I'm glad we're doing that. I'm looking forward to it. And I'll be in the audience cheering for you.
Our Grand Marshal, I can't believe it. Two Grand Marshals sitting together. Oh,
The brain trust.
oh. We can take it, the rest of us will have to, we'll have to shield our eyes for the glitter, John. That's my introduction to you,
Yeah,
John.
congratulations to Mary Jo again. It's obvious we love her here at the library, but it's really cool that the community respects her too, because she's done a lot for the community and for the library. Thank you. That's it.
Well, I look forward to seeing Mary Jo with her parade wave going down the street, so congratulations on that, and it's nice just to see everybody here at the meeting again. Very nice. So,
Well, thank you, and you're reflecting what I was gonna say. It is really good to have us back together from the summer, because we were off in August, and then September, we had a couple of people gone, and October, we had a couple of people gone, so now we're getting all warmed up for the end of the year. I do want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving, because
Yeah, next week.
that comes before we'll all be together again. And just looking forward to our usual fun during the holiday season. I appreciate that, I think I reported last time, like Alma was reporting, I reported from that State of the Community event. Corinne, the outgoing mayor, characterized the library as a centerpiece of the community. And I really think we, like at times like every week during the summer, the farmers market and the car show, the library is kind of a central anchor. And for the fest and for everything else, we are, and I'm really happy. I'm very happy about the role that we're playing in the community. And with that,
Madam Chair,
John,
I make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
it's been moved and it's supported all the way around. Adjourned.